I'm standing outside this high school because I was a sports card dealer when I was in high school. That's right, from the ages of 13 to 18, I sold sports cards 50 hours a week for 5 years in a row. But what I want parents to know is that there's a right way to be a sports card dealer and to collect, and there's a wrong way. And the wrong way is to become a hoarder. Don't be a hoarder. In this week's episode, I'm going to answer three main questions. One, should you get your kids into collecting? Two, what are the benefits of collecting? And three, how much money should you spend on collecting with your kids? Cue the intro.
EDI Sports Show every Friday, hot take, where's the market, behind the scenes from the car shows to the streets. There's only one show, there's only one show I wanna watch. EDI Sports Show every Friday.
Welcome back to EDI Sports Show. This week's episode, we're going to take a closer look at collecting and how parents should handle it with their kids. And should you actually get your kids into collecting? So let's do this first thing. If you're new to this channel, my name is Doc Schwartz. We have 4 different sections of this show, as you can see on the graphic. And so this week, we're going to talk about collecting and kids. So if you're a parent, this is your episode. Just for context, these are the 3 questions that we're going to go over here in this show. So I have them written down. So should you actually get your kids into collecting? What are the benefits of collecting? And then how much money should you spend? So stay tuned. We're going to do that in the behind the scenes section. I'm also going to go over kind of what I'm doing with this channel, like what's my vision for the channel. And if you're trying to build a YouTube channel or a business, a brand, then you want to stay tuned for that behind the scenes section because it's very important. Now, for all of you that love to write comments on my videos, one, thank you. I love the comments. I find it interesting, and we're going to get to the last segment, viewer comments. So that's where I'm going to address all the comments that I got on the last video that I did. But I find it very interesting for you guys, just so you hear my perspective, that a lot of you kind of want to shoot the messenger. Like I put out in the last video, here you go, this is it. I put out a whole bunch of recommendations for Fanatics. These were my business recommendations. So I help CEOs and businesses basically perform better. That's what I do. I'm a performance coach at this point in my career. So I help businesses perform better. So these were my recommendations to make Fanatics better. What I don't understand, or I guess I'm a little confused, is some of you out on YouTube were shooting at me saying, well, Fanatics is never going to do those things, so those are stupid recommendations. Well, one, I hear you. I know Fanatics is probably not going to do any recommendation that I do. One, I'm not big enough, so they don't even know who I am. But two, Fanatics is not run by very good business people. They are Jersey people who kind of came into the sports card hobby and don't really know what they're doing. And most of you actually agree with that. Michael Rubin and Fanatics don't know what they're doing, which is the reason why I made those recommendations. So don't shoot me. Be mad at Fanatics. I'm on your side. I want them not to destroy the hobby, but that's not reality. So anyway, let's get into this week's episode. So let's talk about collecting. Now, one of the things that I need to make this very clear is that this episode is probably not going to be all that beneficial for a person who's 45 or older. It's not going to work. You probably already know everything in this episode, but just in case, maybe you want to watch it just to be like, yes, I know that. I'm all good. I'm an expert in collecting. So I'm not here to judge you, shame you, anything, gaslight you. My purpose of this video is for parents who have kids. We're talking anywhere from the age of 6 to around 13, 14, maybe 15 years old. What should you do with those kids? Should you get them into sports cards? Should you get them into Pokemon? Should you get them into TCG? Or should you just stay away from collecting altogether? one of the things that I want to make very clear before we even get in is that the whole purpose of this video is to prevent your kids from becoming hoarders, okay? So just so everybody knows, I put out a season of my sports card journey. That's my web series. There are 4 episodes. It talks about my background. There's the list of the playlist. So you can watch all 4 of those episodes. I'll even put the links down below to make it easy for you. But basically, I had 8 million cards. Yes, I was a card hoarder. Now, the reason I got to 8 million cards was because I was a sports card dealer in my teenage years. From the age of 13 to 18, I worked 50 hours a week, literally every week for 5 years in a row. And that's how I amassed 8 million cards. That's too much for anyone, let alone one person like me. And I'm not Burbank Sports Shop. Like, I should not have that many cards, and you should not have that many cards. There's no point to having that many cards. I'm just going to show you right here. Like, this is just a pile. Right now, this is in my PC. I'm still got too much. So here you go. I got Mac Jones. We got a whole bunch of Justin Jeffersons. I really like Justin Jefferson, so we got a whole bunch. You got a Michael Strahan. You've got Kyler Murray. You've got Patrick Mahomes. As you can see, I like these ticket cards. There you go. You got Daniel Jones. You've got Saquon Barkley. We've got another Justin Jefferson. See, I like the ticket ones. We've got Eli Manning. And then here we go. Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett, another Mac. And back to the Giants with Carl Banks. I think I should have, yep, there we go. I got a Lawrence Taylor too. So there you go. So those are in my PC, and these are obviously ungraded. They're not worth a whole heck of a lot of money, maybe $1 or $2 each. None of these cards are worth a lot of money. And that's my point. We're going to get to that in the third question. How much money should you spend on sports cards? But just so you're aware, these are my PC, and these are not expensive cards, but they're part of my PC. So let's get into why you should collect. All right. So, because for parents, I want you to understand, what's the value of collecting? What's the point? So collecting is about choosing what you like. And it's very important for kids to be able to make choices. I don't know if you realize this, but your children, especially young age children, they don't actually choose anything. They just want whatever. They just want it. It's all about me, mine. And if you're a parent of young children, that's exactly what they say. Mine. And you're just fighting with them. No, that's not yours. That's actually this kid's, or over here. And they're just like, I don't care. It's here. It's mine. And that's what young children do. So teaching them how to collect actually gives them a sense of ownership, which is really helpful and beneficial for your young kids. So yes, this is your collection. Also, on the back end, it does teach some responsibility, because if this is your collection, how do you take care of it? And so for any parent that has difficulty with their kid having a messy room, this is part of the problem, because they don't seem to have care and concern for their own stuff, for their own space. And so what you want to be able to teach your children is, how do you care about where you live? If a kid lives in a messy room, that's not a good thing. It's negative for their growth. You want kids to live in a organized, clutter-free space so that their brain can relax when they get home after school. If it's a cluttered space, if there's clothes everywhere, if their bed's not made, it actually increases anxiety, potential depression. It's a lot of negative stuff, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So that's why collecting is important, because it teaches kids in a very, very simple way. This is my card. So how do we keep cards? Well, I put them in top loaders. Again, this card is worth $1. So should it go into, a big magnetic case, or should it go into a plastic case like this? No, it goes into a top loader. Now you can use these, or you can use the Ultra Pros, the semi-rigid ones that you send in for grading. Either this or that. Now, if it's a more expensive card, you can actually do what I have over here, which is you have it in a penny sleeve, and then you put it into a top loader. So you're even protecting it even more. Again, teaching your kids how to protect the cards is a very positive skill. This is a life skill that they will use for the rest of their life. All right, so now that we've covered question number 1, let's go look at the 3 questions we're going to do. So first one is, should you get your kids into collecting? So the answer is yes, it's a good idea. Second question is, what are the benefits of collecting? So let's get into the benefits of collecting. So when you actually choose the cards that you want to keep, now this is key, because if you don't choose the cards you want to keep, what happens is you start to build a hoard. Like, oh, I just am going to accumulate cards. Like the piles just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you just start having this is just part of my football collection. Now, again, thankfully, I don't have a big football collection because I'm not that big a football fan. Like, I like watching football, but football cards are not really my thing. I'm more in a baseball and a hockey fan for cards than I am for football and basketball. I have a few. I don't have a Michael Jordan rookie card, and I don't want one because I'm not that fan. I like Michael Jordan. I appreciate his talent, but I didn't grow up a fan of Michael Jordan. So having his rookie card doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It's just sort of like, okay, that's great. It's worth $100,000 for a PSA 10. Great. More power to other people. I don't need it. And that's what you want to teach your kids. That's the benefit of collecting, is teaching them this one skill. I don't need that. If you can teach your kids how to choose, I want that and I need that, you're going to make sure that your kids are successful later on in life. Because if you can have them separate the two, want and need, they won't waste all their money on nonsense and frivolous things, and they won't be poor. Poor people do one thing, and I know this is going to make a lot of people upset, but poor people all do the same thing. They spend money they don't have. That's how you get poor. Rich people and people who became rich all did the same thing. They saved money they didn't need to spend. That's the secret sauce. If you can save money that you don't need to spend, that's why you need to know the difference between want and need. If you don't need it, don't buy it. If you do that over a course of 20 years, you will be a millionaire. Guaranteed. All right, now maybe not 20. If you make enough money and you save enough money, it'll be 20. But you will be a millionaire in 40 years if you do that. Even on the average salary, if you're making $50,000 a year, if you only buy what you need and you save everything else, in 40 years you will be a millionaire. Those are the math. That's how it works. All right, so that's the benefit of learning how to collect. Now, there's one more benefit of learning how to collect, is that if you can teach your kids value, so like this is actually a great point. So this one, I'm going to pull the sticker out so you can actually see it. So this is a Eric Dickerson rookie card on top of a cello pack. Now, the reason I want to show it to you is because I don't know if you saw this. I'm going to show it to you again. How much does this pack cost? And this was a 1989, I think. Let's see. Nope, sorry. 86. So 86, maybe. No, I'm wrong. So I'm wrong. It's 84. I'm getting all my years wrong. This is 84. All right, so how much did this pack cost in 84? Take a look. and tell me, well, how much did it cost? Okay, you got it? All right. So I bought this pack in 84. It cost 59 cents. How much is this pack worth today? Well, estimated value is between $800 to $1,000. That's what estimated value. I mean, that's called appreciation. That's called this actually went up in value. Now, the reason is, one, Eric Dickerson is a Hall of Famer. He's an amazing running back, one of the best running backs in the league. This is his rookie card, and it's on a sealed pack. And I've kept this in a plastic case since 1985 or 84 when I got it. So this thing has been protected for the last 40 years. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but that's the point, is it cost 59 cents and now it's worth around $1,000. That's called appreciation. So what your kid can learn is how to track appreciation. Now, I did a video way back, and I'll show you the photo, the YouTube thumbnail. Here it is. So this is the video that I did that actually talks about appreciation versus inflation, because there's two different things. Just because a price goes up doesn't mean it appreciated. This pack in inflation dollars, 40 years later, this pack, if it didn't have Eric Dickerson on it, this pack is worth about $5 to $10, maybe 15. But that's what it's worth in inflation. That's the inflationary rate for this pack, not appreciation. I want to make that clear. The price went up. It was 59 cents in 1984, and in 2024, it's worth $10 to $15. The reason is because that's inflation. So when I talk about, and I did this in a previous video, basically the price of modern wax is like what's going on. And in the recommendations last week to Fanatics was to make blaster boxes $10. The reason is because that's the inflation rate price for the low end. Remember, this was 59 cents 40 years ago. So in 2024 dollars, the lowest price is $10. It's just inflation. It's just the way it is. So 59 cents for a pack of cards is equal to $10 for a blaster box of cards. It's the same thing. And there's 28 cards in here. Well, that's a blaster box. Are you starting to see what I'm talking about? See, you can't sell a cello pack today. It's just not, first of all, it's not packaged properly, and it doesn't cost anything. 59 cents, you don't make any money. So a blaster box, which is 28, and I said it should be about 32 or 36 cards. So that's a blaster box. Imagine a blaster box and this is all you get. I mean, that's what we're talking about. But the point is that this is worth $10. Blaster box is only worth $10. Are we starting to see how this works? Okay, so now that you understand value, appreciation, inflation, again, those are the benefits to collecting. Now let's get to the third question. Again, we're doing all three questions. The first one is, should you get into collecting? Second one is the benefits of collecting. And now here's the third question. How much money should you spend with your kids on collecting? Because you want to get them into collecting and you want them to start building a collection. Again, the important thing is, so when you go and buy the cards, we'll get there, how much money. But when you actually buy the cards, you want them to open it up. You want them to take care of the cards. You want to sit down with them and ask them about the cards. You want to say, which cards do you like? And when they're young, like 6, 7, 8 years old, it's just going to be look. It's the eye test. So which card do they like more? Do they like this one or do they like this one? And it's just the eye test. Which one do I like more? And that's all that you're asking your kid is, which card looks nicer to you? Okay, well then put a pile together of the cards that you think are really cool. And that's the pile they keep. The rest of the cards you put into a binder as your trade binder, and that's what you take to a card show or to a trade night, and that's what you get rid of or trade for other stuff that you want. It doesn't matter what the value of the cards are. When you're talking about 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, don't worry about the value unless you get, like, if you buy a blaster box and your kid does actually get a hit, like a card that's worth $10, $20, $30, $40, okay, that one you need to separate out and make sure that they hold on to that. Because they don't understand the value, that's fine. Just put it aside and be like, okay, let them deal with the dollar cards on look and on what I like. And this is what I want to keep, and this is what I want to get rid of. You need to teach them how to get rid of stuff. Don't teach them how to be a hoarder. All right. Last is how much do you spend? So I recommend for parents of young kids, we're talking 6 to around 9 years old, I think that you need to be very, very low on your dollar amount. The bigger point is I want you to be able to help your kid get like 100 to 200 cards and get a box and basically make that their box, their collection box, the PC box. And it can just be, a double row box, so they put all the cards in. If you put them in these top loaders, they fit right into one of those things. Or you can buy them one of those smaller cases that hold, anywhere between 40 to 80 cards, and that's their PC. Then what you also want to do is get them a binder with sleeves, and they want to put all of the cards that they're not keeping in that, and that's what you bring to a show. Now, so how much money should you spend? To be quite honest with you, you should just be going for lots. Go to a card show, go to a dollar bin box, and basically say to the dealer, look, I got my kids, I want to spend $10. How many cards in this dollar bin will you give me for $10? And to be quite honest with you, you should be able to get 50 cards. For $10, you should be able to get 50 cards. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if the dealer doesn't want to do that for little kids, walk away. That's not a very nice guy. It's just, and since most people in the hobby are men, I'm saying it's not a nice guy. Walk away, find someone else with a dollar bin, and let your kids sit there and pick out 50 cards that they want. It'll take 2 hours. I mean, you want to spend $10 on a 2-hour adventure, there you go. So that's my recommendation, do that. And if you do that once a month, again, go to a show once a month, then you have for the rest of the weeks that your kid can do this on the weekend, basically like go through your cards and be like, okay, go through them. Which ones do you like? And then they go through and go, okay, and put those in the box. All right, and what's going into the binder? And if you separate these two things out, they're going to have fun. Again, it's an activity that they now can do, which is productive. It keeps them quiet. There's no noise with collecting. It's literally the most silent, passive hobby you could ever give them. Trust me, if you have young kids, this is awesome. And if you put it in the card holders, into these, top loaders, they can't rip them. They can't rip the cards. So, all right, so that's for young kids. Now, what do you do for preteens? So we're talking 10 to 12 years old. So that's where you want to actually start with potentially maybe even either an allowance or, like a quasi, payment system. So basically set it up in your home that if your kid does, 2 chores, so talk to your wife, if you're the mom and you're talking to the husband, like, okay, what are the chores that we want our kid to do? And if they do those chores, they get a quarter each time they complete it, okay? And so now they're earning money towards their sports card budget, okay? That's how you do this. So whatever it is, if you want them to clean the table, put all the dishes in the sink, When they do that, that's a quarter. And you can keep track of all this stuff. Trust me, these are really good pro-social life skills to teach them. All right, so that's how you do that. And then basically, you just want, when you go to the show, you just want to be an advisor, like a financial advisor, like your kid has earned maybe $10 and they go to the dollar bin box and they're pulling out 10 cards for $10 and you go, you're just going to get 10? I think you need to negotiate. Tell them you have $10. You want to spend all 10 on this box. That's great. Say, I have $10. How many total cards can I get out of this box? Because I want more than 10 cards. And find out how many they'll give you. Like, that's how you negotiate. Be like, I have a $10 bill. I'm going to spend it all with you. That's all I got. And I want to be able to maximize the number of cards I can get and ask the dealer, for this $10, how many cards can I get out of this dollar bin box? And that's when you're going to hear, because most dealers, especially to a kid, it's going to be like, yeah, 20 cards. And that's when you want to encourage your kid. Remember, 10 to 12 years old, you want to encourage them to say 25, 30. You want them to negotiate. You want them to get something more. That's called self-confidence. That's called expression. That's called leadership. That's what you want them to do. So that's, if you see your kid doing that, trust me, they're good. They're good. They're going to be fine. All right. So that's how you do preteens. Now, what about teenagers? Because teenagers are a whole nother story. And trust me, I have worked with thousands and thousands of teens. So I know the challenge of teenagers. All right, so the best thing to do with teenagers is to give them some sense of independence. That's what they want. They want to be old. I don't know why, but that's because they have no responsibility. See, they want the power of being an adult without any of the responsibility. That's what being a teenager is all about. It's, I'm going to make all my decisions, but I don't want to deal with any of the consequences of my decisions. And that's, as a parent, what you have to really communicate to your child is it doesn't work that way. You don't just get to do everything you want to do and there's no responsibility and consequence on your side. That's not what being an adult is. Adult is you get to do what you want to do, but you also have to take care of business. And so you want to teach your teenager how to take care of business so that they enjoy the other side of the coin, the stuff that they want to do. All right, so with sports cards, most teens are going to be into, can I make a little bit of money on this? Because most teens are not going to find sports cards, at least in 2024, they're not going to find it to be cool. I know Fanatics is trying to make it cool, but I mean, Michael Rubin is the most uncool person in the world, so I don't know how he's going to make it cool. Like if LeBron James was collecting cards, then it's cool. But LeBron James doesn't collect cards, so I mean, that's the problem, is that there's no influencer, there's no cool influencer who's collecting cards. Gary Vee is an old man. Yes, he has a following, but he's an old man, and all of his followers collect V friends, not sports cards. Let's make that clear. They collect Pokemon, TCG, and V friends. They don't collect sports cards. So just be careful that you don't want to get into, why don't you collect cards? They're going to look at you and be like, Dad, you're so, that's just a dad joke. Cards are uncool. But you can make a little bit of money and you can build value. So again, what you want to be able to explain to your kids is, and show them this video. So this cost 59 cents back in 1984. It is now worth around $1,000. That's real money. Now, it's not going to make you rich. I mean, this is not going to make me rich. What can I do with $1,000? I could go buy some more cards. I can't do much. I can't rent anything. Like rents are more than $1,000. I can't buy a car. I could lease a car. I could get 5-6 months of a lease out of this for a pack. So that's pretty good. But I mean, that's my point, is you're not going to make a fortune in sports cards. It's not going to happen. It's all about the grind. You have to actually know what you're doing. So basically what I would suggest is do the thing that you did for preteens. So, but this time really make responsibilities at home. So for when I was I'm a former teacher, principal, superintendent, and when I was doing all of that inside the K-12 system, I used to give parents what's called home rewards plans and basically set it up for teenagers, again, starting from freshman year through senior year. These are all the things the kids need to do at home, and if they did them, they got check marks. And at the end of the week, based on the number of check marks, they got basically a paycheck from the parents. And based on your family's budget, because you can't give them more money than you have. So I would say, okay, what's your budget? And I had a formula that I would just put in, okay, you want to give your kid $500 for the year. Okay, so 500 is the total, and then it spit out, this is how much per week. Done. And so based on the number of checks, they would get, however much money per week. So at the end of the year, they only got $500. Well, actually, they usually would get less because, again, most kids don't do everything they're supposed to do every week. So you would allotted $500 for them, but they would only get maybe like $450 or $420. And so you had $80 left over. Now you can roll that into next year. So it's $500 again for next year, but you only now need to spend $420 because they didn't take the $80 that they could have earned. This is the way to do it. Anyway, you want them to be independent going to a show. So you can take them with their friends to the show, drop them off, or if you go to the show, you wander separately and tell them, look, this is the time we're going to meet over here at the end of the show. That's it. You better be there at that time because then I'm going. But you can walk around the show with your friends by yourself. You are independent. You are a teenager. You can do this. You have your own money and you decide what you want to buy. What they're going to see in the beginning is they're going to buy stuff that's complete garbage. They're going to buy the Monopoly stuff. They're going to buy the stuff that the influencers tell them to buy. That's what they're going to do because they're teenagers. They're not going to think for themselves. This is the key, is that you don't judge their purchases. Don't do that. What you want to do is let them come on their own to, what I just bought, like this card is going to be worth a whole heck of money. So if I spent $10 on this card, I'm going to realize I spent too much on this. Now, obviously, I didn't spend too much on this card. I think I got this in a lot. I think I got this for, I want to say $0.25. So I spent $0.25 on this, and it's worth probably about 75% at this point. So that's my point, is that you want them to start understanding the value of cards. And once they understand the value of the cards, you have done your job. You're good as a parent. You literally can say, okay, you're good. Go out there and do what you want, because they're not going to get ripped off. They're not going to get ripped off because now they can understand, like, okay, so when someone on YouTube pushes a product, let's say like a Topps unlicensed Chrome basketball product, do I want to buy it? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Now, maybe you want to get a single, because they're going to have autographs in that. So you want to get a single autograph. Great. So that's what you buy. But you don't buy boxes. You don't buy blasters. You don't buy packs. You don't buy any of that stuff because it's all worthless, literally worthless. And if somebody wants to charge hundreds of dollars for an autograph on an unlicensed card from 2024, then and if your kid's like, well, I'm thinking about this, you need to kind of say, remember, it's a 2024 card. It's not a 1960 card. It's not a 2019 card. It's a 2024 card. It just came out. So nothing that just came out is worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's what it's selling for. I get it. But that price is going to come back down to earth. It happens every single year. It happens every single year. So if your kid wants to get into, unfortunately, there's no way for kids to get into the game of making money on the prospecting, because unfortunately, Fanatics and all the other card makers, they don't want to give product to kids for less money. They're trying to charge the highest price for boxes. So you're not going to make money on a box. I know. So the only way to make money is to go to the dollar boxes and literally take time and go through, or go to flea markets and buy entire collections. Again, negotiate. If they're selling it for 20 bucks, say I'll give you 10. If they're selling it for 50 bucks, I'll give you 25. Like, you want to start really negotiating and just getting a bunch of cards. If you get enough cards at dollar amounts, again, this whole pile, is probably, I don't know how many there are, so I'm going to count them for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cards. So this pack is worth $13. So how much should I pay for this pack if I wanted to sell it to someone else? Well, I should pay $3 because I could probably sell it for $5. It's only worth $13. That's my point, is you got to understand that the values, so whatever it's worth, you need to pay lower than that. And when you're talking about dollar cards, most dealers want to just get rid of volume. That, in fact, if a dealer doesn't want to get rid of volume, again, walk away from that dealer. They clearly, I don't know what they're doing. Why do they not want to sell out their dollar box? And you could literally go, and if you have a 5,000 count box, like if you go to a dealer with a 5,000 count dollar box, say, can I give you $50 for the whole box? It's a 5,000 count box. Literally buy the whole box. Can I give you $50 for the whole box? Now you got 5,000 cards. Now you can separate out, okay, what cards do I like? And then sell the rest. If you sell the 5,000 count box after picking out, maybe let's say you picked out 100 cards that you actually like, you could sell that 5,000 count box for $30 or $40. Like, you got your money back. You're getting the value. You got 100 cards for 10. Now you're selling it back for 40 to a dealer. Like, and the dealer's going to be like, 40? Yeah, all right, I'll do $40 for a 5,000 count box. I mean, understand that this is where you need to start doing small ball. This is where you begin. This is how you teach kids how to do this hobby. All right. I know, I'm exhausted. All right. We're going to get to the next segment. Where's the market? Don't click away, because in the behind the scenes, I'm going to go over how I'm doing a strategic vision for this channel. If you want to build a YouTube channel or a business, sports card business, whatever, stay tuned for behind the scenes. And don't forget the viewer comments at the end. Put your comments down below, and let's get to Where's the Market. In this week's Where's the Market, I thought I actually would do a deep dive into some of the cards that I showed you in the first segment. So actually I want to do this one first because I did the research, and so I said it was worth around $800 to $1,000, but actually I just found it on eBay going for $200 plus tax. So that's going to be around $225 to $240 to send this to you. So again, so just so you're aware, that's what it is. But my point being is, again, the same thing in this first segment. It costs 59 cents. So inflation makes this worth $10. It's not worth $10. It's worth more than that. Therefore, that's called appreciation. So one of the other cards that I wanted to show you was actually this card, the Joe Montana 2000 Upper Deck Jersey card. So this is a game-worn patch. Okay, so you can see that's game worn. So this card I actually picked up from a dealer in a trade, so approximately $40 in a trade. And as you can see from this listing on eBay, it's going for $140. So I did pretty well, again, in terms of appreciation. Next card, I got this one also in a deal at a show. So this is the Panini Flawless Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill card. So this is the Ruby. This is out of 15. So this one is number 4 out of 15. Now, I got it in a trade for approximately Well, actually, I got this card and another Patch Mahomes card, patch card, for a one rookie Bird Magic Johnson rookie card from 1980. So I traded that for 2 patch cards from Patrick Mahomes. Now, what's this worth right now? As you can see, this is the lower end one. So this is numbered to 15. The one that's on the screen is numbered to 25. So that one just went for around 305 plus tax. So it's about 320. So what does that make this card? It makes this card worth around $500. Now I got 2 of them, not both the same, this card and another Patrick Mahomes card for the Magic Johnson Larry Bird rookie card, which is worth around $700. So I got this card plus that card for a $700 trade. For me, I'm never going to spend that money on this, and I had doubles of the Bird Johnson rookie, so I didn't need that card. So I traded it. That dealer was very happy. He got a card that he wasn't going to be able to find, or why would he spend money on it? And so we both got value back. I think I did pretty well. If this is worth around $500 and the other card is worth around $500, I got $1,000 of value for a card that I could only really get $700 cash for. And so that's how you can start to negotiate. And again, for parents trying to help their kids understand, how do you get value? It's understand the value of the cards. Try to get as best a deal as you can. Again, I think the only way you can actually do sports cards now in 2024 is on bulk deals. So save up your money. Literally tell your kids, don't buy wax, don't buy packs, don't buy individual cards. Don't do that in the beginning. Save up your money. If you have $10, go to the show and go to the dollar bin and try to buy, 20, 30 cards with $10, or save up for 40, 50 bucks. Go to a dealer and say, I have $40. Can I buy your dollar bin box, the whole box, and get 5,000 cards for 40 bucks? Now you go through it. Now you take the time and sort through it and go through it and pick out the stuff that you actually want to keep, and then go back to a show the next month and try to sell it for as much as you can. Literally just go to a dealer and say, I have a 5,000 count dollar box. How much would you give me for the whole box? You might be surprised. The dealer might say, I'll give you 40 bucks. You literally just spent $10 on all the cards that you wanted. You got them all. And now you just got your money back. So now you got 40 bucks. So if you save up again for that next month and you have $30 plus now 40 from the dealer, you now have 70 bucks to go and say, okay, what do I want to do? So now maybe you buy $2 bin boxes. Again, if you start to learn the dealers, you'll know that some of the dealers have a lot of really good stuff in their dollar bin boxes because it's dollar cards. So they'll throw in $2, $3 cards into their dollar bin box because there's no point. They can't put it in their case. It's only a $2 card. So you can actually start to get real value. You can actually pull out all the $2 cards and make your own lot. And go to a dealer and say, look, I have a lot of 100 cards. They're all worth $2 each. How much will you give me for them? Well, it's 100 cards, so $2 each. So it's valued at $200. The dealer might be, I'll give you 20. Well, you just made $20 on 100 cards. You still have a 5,000 count box. See, this is how you start to extract value. That's what I want you to know. So that's where's the market for this week. Now let's get to behind the scenes. So we are behind the scenes. This is a great opportunity. This is what I love about this show. I have different segments and I can go actually just off script. I have some notes just to make sure that I cover everything. But this is where you guys can actually go behind the scenes of the show, of the hobby, what's going on. So this channel, EDI Sports Cards, I started this basically as a way to just give back. So I've been a 40-year collector I was a sports card dealer, and I also had a career in sports. I was a sports reporter for both Star Ledger newspaper in New Jersey as well as WBRS up in Boston. I was a play-by-play announcer for the Boston Blazers lacrosse. I also did games for Harvard basketball, Babson College hockey, Brandeis baseball. My classmate Nelson Figueroa played in the major leagues. I called his games back in college. And so I've been involved in sports. I also worked for ESPN, ESPN2, ABC Sports. So I did a lot in sports. And so I love talking about sports. As you probably saw, in the background on my bookcases, my graduation cap from college says ESPN, here I come. And that's because that's what I thought that I was going to do, was I was going to be on TV being a sports announcer, a sports caster. That's what I thought. Didn't work out that way. I'm not unhappy about it. I'm now on YouTube, and I can do this on my own time and on my own, with my own editing. I don't have to have a producer telling me what to do. I can choose the stories I want to cover and create the videos that I want to do. And so this is all for collectors. And so what I decided was, if you want to buy, sell, and collect cards better than normal, than what's out there, I created a Facebook group. And I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I don't have a big following right now, so I can't create my own group. So I have to use Facebook. And telling you honestly, this is behind the scenes. That's what I do. I tell you honestly behind the scenes. So I created a Facebook group called Card Hoarder Nation, since that's what we all are. We hoard cards. We have way too many cards. And so what I'm hoping is, for all the collectors out there, you realize you have too many cards. Get rid of your cards. Not that you should just give them away, no, but get some value back, but trade them in or sell them and buy stuff that you want to hold on to for the next decade. And I think that we all need to just realize that you're not buying to make money. Yeah, you can make money. You're not flipping stuff like every week, every month. Unless you are on eBay and you're doing that, that's fine. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do all that work. So really, it's just about figuring out a better way to sell your cards. And that's why I created the Facebook group. So you can go there, you can list bulk deals, list cards, list a whole bunch of cards, and people can go there and buy your stuff. It's a community to buy and sell your collections. That's so that if you want to tell family, look, if something happens to me, something tragic, there's a Facebook group called Card Hoarder Nation. You could go there, you could sell your cards. And that's what I want. I want that to be built up. Hopefully, if we can build this community here, again, if you guys share these videos, we can build this community, and I will build my own little community to be able to buy and sell collections. That would be what we're doing. Personal collections, people buying and selling, so that you can sell from one collector to the next collector and really get more value out of it. Because if you sell to dealers, you have to take a discount. So that's the key. And then all the stuff that's in the Facebook group, there's a ton of free stuff. So I'm going to list it out. I have a Card Hoarder magazine. All right, so that's the magazine in the group. It's free. And in the magazine, I already have one that's on the 50s baseball cards. I'm working on 60s, 70s, and 80s. Again, I'm doing all this stuff by myself, folks. So, there's only so much I can do in a week. I still have a job. I'm running a startup company trying to fix the educational system in the country. So that takes up a lot of my time. There's 84,000 schools in America, and they're struggling, and teachers are struggling. There's 4 million teachers, and 1 million teachers have already quit. We've got that. I'm also working on the gold standard. So that's going to be in Card Hoarder magazine. That's going to be the issue. It's going to be the gold standard issue, which talks about the top 100 cards. It's basically the top 100 most valuable cards in the hobby. Now, valuable doesn't necessarily mean sale price. I want to make that very clear. Value means they're bellwether cards. So if those cards go down, then you know that there's something going on in the hobby. If those cards are going up, then you know that the hobby is healthy. That's what having a gold standard is all about. So these are the top 100 cards in the hobby, and they're the 4 major sports. So baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. Doesn't include soccer, doesn't include F1, doesn't include wrestling, doesn't include non-sports. It's only the 4 major sports. There's also a Google form in there, which happens to do with appreciation and inflation, which we talked about in today's show. So if you want to know what your cards are actually worth, then fill out the Google form. If I can collect enough data of everybody, of what the actual purchase price are of all the cards that you've bought, I can then aggregate the data and actually give you the much more accurate value of your card. Even Jeff Wilson just put out a video literally this week saying, what do we do because Market Movers isn't accurate? I mean, they just admitted that. And I've been telling you guys that for 3 years. And now Jeff Wilson is admitting that Market Movers has problems. For parents, this is awesome. The top 300 cards, that means that's all your kids are going to collect. Everything else needs to go into a trade binder. Everything else needs to go. And so they don't clutter up their room. You have to get rid of stuff. Like literally, you can't carry around thousands and thousands of cards, especially if you're going to go off to college. You know, I had a storage unit. I had cards in my parents' basement. Like I had 8 million cards. It was too much. I didn't want to be a hoarder. You don't want your kids to be a hoarder. And then the last thing is, if you have any questions about the hobby, if you have any questions about cards, you can contact me on both X or IG. Handle is EDI Sports Cards. Put it down below, EDI Sports Cards. You can contact me there, or put a comment down below right here on YouTube. Ask your questions and I will get to them. Like I said, every single week, I get to the comments in the viewer comments. So if you put a question down, I can answer it. And that's it. That's behind the scenes. Now it's time to get to your viewer comments. Now it's time to get to your viewer comments. And I'm telling you right now, I'm saving the best comment for last. So do not click away. The best comment is last. So, but I wanted to make this very clear. I don't know. I think there are some people on YouTube who are watching my channel, and I don't know if you're a subscriber or not. If you're not a subscriber, you really should hit the subscribe button. But if you're not a subscriber, I don't know why you hate people so much, but okay. I am not Jeff Wilson. I am not going to sue people for making comments. I am not Sportscard Radio, where I literally have the thinnest skin in the entire world. If you go after them, they are like, teenage girls. They're like, oh, it's such drama. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. So here we go. We're going to do the first comment. This is from Amazon, and he said, I've been thinking about creating YouTube content. After watching 5 minutes of this video, I now know anyone can do this. Anyone. Oh, wow. I love that comment. That is a great comment. I'm from New York, so I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area. And let me tell you something. That's called playground comments. That's what you say on the playground because you are, 5'3" and you want to play with the big boys. And you're just like, I'm just going to poke them as much as I can. Look, folks, I am bigger than you, and it's fine. You want to come after me, that's a comment. I love it. It's great sarcasm. It's funny. It's funny. And if that's what my community is all about, making funny jokes like that, awesome. I mean, this is great. So that was a great comment. I love it. All right, next comment. Let's go to user JA1. This is a Google name, so who knows? So their vision is to indoctrinate children into a life of gambling and capture those same kids as mature gamblers in the sports book. Whoa, is that a high-level, intelligent conversation? Woo, I did not really think about that. That is a very good point. Yeah, that is a problem. And if you've been watching the news, Major League Baseball just banned 5 players, 1 for life, because they gambled on baseball. Gambling is now a huge problem, and the sports leagues are promoting gambling. And Fanatics, I don't know if they have their hand in gambling, but I would not be surprised if they did. All right, let's get to the next comment. This one comes from Lil Coop, and it says, "This is slow AF, I'm clicking away. And yet you spent the time to make a comment. So, who won that conversation?" Thank you so much for the comment. I love it. Folks, I love these comments. Please keep them coming. Keep them coming. If you have never made a comment before, comment on this channel. I might pick it out. Again, try to do your bangers. If you're going to do a zinger, do a good zinger. Seriously, I appreciate good comedy. Let's go. Next one. This is from John Zapalski. And he says, Fanatics created a business of chasing the hits. They can charge more money for boxes and cases because they are distributed through breakers, interesting, who are happy to pay the premium for those loaded boxes. They have turned the hobby into a casino. I've been a collector since the 80s. I won't buy any wax today because of the high price points and high print runs. There is no value. Again, we are in 100% agreement, John. Seriously, we are in agreement. I've already made a video. Here's the thumbnail, the casino of gambling of the sports card hobby. Yes, that is exactly what they've done. They've turned this into a casino. You are gambling on everything, and I say no to gambling. I didn't buy this card. I got this card in a trade. I had cards from when I was a kid. Again, I was a teenage dealer, so I had 8 million cards, so I had a lot of cards. So some of the cards that I have are valuable, that people want those. So I trade them for stuff that is expensive, and I don't want to spend money on it. And it's like, all right, I'll trade this out for that out, but I'm consolidating. I'm in a really good position because I have more cards than I need. We talked about it in the first segment. I have more cards than I need. That means I can double up my cards and say, okay, here's 2 cards for 1 card. Here's a more expensive card for 2 less expensive cards, because I'm doing, PC, personal collection at this point. For all of you that don't have enough cards, do the bulk deals. Go onto Facebook. Meet people in person though. Don't do bulk deals over the phone and have people send it through the mail. Please don't do that. That's just a scam waiting to happen. Honestly, do not trust anyone. Literally, do not trust anyone. And I'm even saying this, don't even trust me. Don't trust me. I will earn your trust. I promise you, I will earn your trust, because I don't want to scam people. But don't just trust people because they say trust them. That's not the way it works. Don't just trust me because I say trust me. Trust me because I am consistent, I am honest, and I do what I say I'm going to do. If you deal with me, I am an honest person. Therefore, you're not going to get into trouble. But I'm also going to say, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Because that's what honest people do. They don't want to hurt people. All right. The last comment, and I said I'm saving the best for last. This is the last one. So this is from Andrew9793, and I love this comment. So here we go. Old man, get off my lawn moment. Take the hobby back 10 years. Just base and retail turns people off to the hobby, and that's the way you get $10 blasters. $30 blasters fly off the shelf at my local retail. I love this comment because, yeah, I even said it in the video. This is my old man moment where I get to complain about pricing. But the problem is that I'm not complaining about pricing. See, if I was complaining about pricing, I would literally be saying, this costs 59 cents. How come we don't have cello packs for $2? See, that's complaining about pricing. The problem is that this is no longer the hobby. The hobby changed. So the hobby went from cello to blaster boxes. That's what happened. There's 28 cards in here. How many cards are in a blaster box? In most blaster boxes, there are 15 cards in a blaster box. That's less than a cello. And they're charging $20 for a blaster box. I'm sorry, folks, but that's not complaining like an old man. That's called actual where's the value. Like, I'm going, you're dumb for buying it. And I had some parents even say, well, my kid bought it and pulled a card. Yeah, you got lucky. You got lucky. I don't know if that's what you want to be teaching your children. Do you literally want to be teaching your children that you have to be lucky in order to collect cards? That's the wrong message. Don't teach your kids that. Tell them that's junk, literal junk, and go to a card show and go buy cards that you want. Don't buy blasters. Don't buy wax. Don't buy it. If you want to do breaks, that's fine. I did a whole video on breaks. Here's the thumbnail. Did a whole video on breaks. That's how you can do breaks, because you got to spend less on the break. It's fine if you want to do a break because there's only one, team that you like, and if that's the only team you want to collect, then yes, a break makes sense, because then you don't have all the other stuff. You don't have all the other base cards. You don't have all the other teams. You don't have to worry about collating a whole box. But you shouldn't buy wax at all until Fanatics decides that they want to go the other way. Now, they're not going to do that if you keep buying the wax. They're also not going to do that if you do breaks, because the breakers are what's holding Fanatics up. See, it's not the hobbyist. It's not the collector. The collector is not holding the hobby up. It's the breakers. The breakers are holding the hobby up. They're the ones that are buying all this crap. You guys are buying into the breaks. So if you really want to get Fanatics to stop doing what they're doing, end the breaking cycle. If you stop buying into breaks, there's no more hobby. Like, Fanatics is done. That's their strategy. And so again, all of the comments are awesome. I love them. Even the zingers, I love them. Seriously, folks, this is great. All right, this is Doc Schwartz saying thank you for joining me one more week. It's Friday. Have a great weekend.
There's only one show. There's only one show I wanna watch. EDI Sports Show every Friday. From interviews and card news to the sports behind the scenes, only one show covers the deeds. EDI Sports Show.